I love Pokemon, okay? It's a fun game, and honestly, it's a pretty important part of my childhood. And ever since we got Super Smash Bros. Brawl, we got the trainer from Red and Blue in it.
Yeah, I liked Pokemon a lot too. I'm not as much into it because I feel like I want to play other games, not Pokemon anymore, but I loved Pokemon as a childhood. And I feel like instead of calling him the Pokemon trainer, I think we should just call him Ash because he was the main character of all the Pokemon show series and the games.
Well, not really the games. You always had some generic kid who seems to always be mute.
Yeah.
But regardless, doesn't Nintendo kind of own the rights to Pokemon? So what the hey? Just put Ash in place of the Pokemon trainer.
I feel like Ash is just basically the same thing. He's just a Pokemon trainer, but his name's Ash now. He should just use the same Pokemon, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, because Pikachu's already his own thing.
And now about Team Rocket being in this, what do you think?
Yeah, Team Rocket, I think, would be a pretty funny entry. They'd act kind of like the Ice Climbers in the fact that they're always together. And being that they're bumbling idiots, their moves would kind of show that.
They definitely have Arbok, Weezing, and
Or consisting of things like, but things, kind of goofy things, bazookas, and all,
the
and like,
balloon would be the final smash, wouldn't you think?
oh yeah, the rocket balloon.
I feel like the Team Rocket, do you think they'd be a type of squishy, like 70% they'd die at, maybe?
Kind of around there, but and I think they'd be kind of like the ice climbers, but it's kind of just hard to decide. Like, if the pink one dies, the blue one's still in it. So which one would be first?
I have a question though. So Team Rocket aren't gonna evolve throwing out any Pokemon like Ash would, also known as the Pokemon Trainer.
No, they'd be more relying on their own
Type of
powers.
traps and weapons they use in the shows, right?
Yeah, because Weezing and Meowth, two of their main Pokemon, are already, their own things appearing out of Pokeballs. But their attacks could have things like they use like vacuums, like I said, bazookas.
I definitely agree. And now to number 6.
Number 6.
Alright, so Crash Bandicoot, number 6. He's a crazy character, and we feel like he would contribute a lot of abilities in this game, just the type of character he is.
Well, to be fair, Crash has never been featured in a Nintendo game, and moreover, he was probably during the PS1 era one of the poster boys of Sony games. But back during the 90s, Sega had Sonic as a mascot, and Sonic ended up in Brawl. And Sony was then and now what Sega was in the 90s. So, maybe throwing in a rival mascot, might make things a little more interesting.
Now, Crash Bandicoot, he was featured in a few of these racing type of games, these like demolition cars. He was featured in one of those. So I feel like his up B would be like he'd be in a car and he'd like kind of like Wario with his motorcycle, except that's a side B. I feel like he would use his car
He'd use more of his own
to like jetpack him up. I think that might have been.
He'd use more of his own wacky powers from the original games. Neither of us know too much about Crash, but we just thought he'd be an entry that would spice up the roster. Next.
Definitely.
Alright, Punch-Out is definitely a series of Nintendo that has lied dormant but managed to always come back with something good in its games. From the original NES's to the Wii version, Little Mac is definitely a Nintendo character who I don't think gets everything he deserves.
Little Mac would definitely be a sort of melee enforced person since he has boxing gloves, of course. So what would he do range? Do you think they should maybe give him a ranged type of move, like a long punch or something like that.
A fire punch, something like that. But Mac would be the kind of character that a lot of pros like using because he's a melee character.
And he's a very skillful character.
Yeah, he takes some skill to use and would definitely be extremely effective in his meleeing.
And he would counter a few characters also.
Yeah, he's an assist trophy in Brawl, so why don't we give him a little promotion?
Yeah. Now we're talking about also how Little Mac, he's been around for such a long time and never mentioned other than trophies. So I think what Jake said, give him a promotion and mention it because he's a cool character.
If only we could get Mike Tyson in there too. This would be a pretty interesting character. Continuing our series of Sonic characters, I think Knuckles and Shadow also deserve to be in this. The reason we didn't lump them in with Tails is these guys are definitely more worthy of being in the game.
Now, that's definitely why we put them in the top 5. Knuckles would be a brute force type of character.
Kind of like Little Mac.
Yeah, and like Little Mac, he'd probably take some punishment before he actually ends up dying. Now, Shadow would be, I feel like, more of a harass type of character, but he can also take some punishment, unlike Tails.
Using his dark abilities. Also, I think for Knuckles and Shadow too, they'd be slower than Sonic, but also more powerful.
What would the recoveries be like?
Not sure. I know Knuckles can fly.
And Shadow maybe could use his dark abilities to somehow manage to save himself in a few...
Yeah, he could do kind of something like Pit, where Pit enchants his wings. Knuckles could, fly around. Shadow could fly around a little.
Yeah. Now...
I thought we'd have more to say about these guys.
Yeah, I thought so too, but I guess we're gonna have to move on to the gore of...
our next entry.
Yeah.
Our next 2 entries, as a matter of fact. Spoiler alert!
Now, my companion had to go take a number 2, so I'll take care of this one. Jack Kamen, he is a great addition, which I think he should be in SSBU. Jack Kamen has so many abilities in this gory game called Mad World. Mad World, a Wii game I have, he uses metal fists, and he has different types of moves. He has a chainsaw, and he has a jetpack. Now, Jack Kamen can use his jetpack for the recovery. His chainsaw would definitely be part of his side smash. His up smash would be more of his fist, like launching his fist in the air. He doesn't detach his fist, but he has a metal fist. Jack Kamen is one of the badasses of the top 3. Now, we think, definitely, Jack Kamen, though, not really being a Nintendo-based character, but being on a Nintendo system and being a badass, should be in this game. Now, we hope you guys would think Jack Kamen would be an awesome character for this game. Now, next to number 2, a next gory, bloody hero.
Jack Kamen had iron fists, chainsaws, and a jetpack. What's more badass than these 3 objects combined? How about a lightsaber? Travis Touchdown from the No More Heroes series is an anti-hero that is definitely worth putting in Smash. Now, Nintendo would probably have a hard time getting these guys in, considering No More Heroes is M-rated, where Smash is T. It might cost some of his absurd humor, but I think it's worth to get Travis in the game. Travis is tough, fast, and pretty able to deal out the pain to assassins or Nintendo characters. His attacks would mostly focus around his beam katana and his motorcycle, but I think Travis is definitely a character who He may not be a first-party character, but he's definitely a third-party gem that deserves to make their way into the Smash universe. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. The best of the best. Number 1. Honestly, if you didn't see this one coming, you're an idiot. Mega Man, in many ways, defines the 8-bit era, and compared to some of the other characters, like the Ice Climbers, even Olimar, he's had so many more games on Nintendo systems, having 10 main series games plus the X series. And really, there's no reason Mega Man shouldn't go in the game.
He has so many abilities that they all qualify to be a Super Smash Bros. Universe ability for him. But the controller just can't fit all the abilities for each button.
Over 70 abilities in the main series, plus all the powers he's gotten in the X series. Mega Man has more powers than could fit in basically every fighter in the genre.
Mega Man definitely has a few abilities even to qualify for his up B as a recovery.
As a final smash.
Final smash.
His Metal Blades would be a perfect final smash. Rush, his robot dog, would make a perfect up B because of all the adapters he has.
Now, Dark Metroid, the one problem that Nintendo probably has of putting Mega Man into this game, and this is the only problem, everything else is perfect, is he has too many abilities. It's just a hard decision to put
well, it wouldn't be
all
too hard to pick a few abilities that could, use. His Wave Buster could be his regular B move, and then he could use some of his other techniques. I haven't played all the Mega Man games, but what techniques like the Magnet Missile, the Metal Blades, hell, he could even have multiple final smashes that get determined by like a roulette or something.
I feel like if Jack came in and Travis Touchdown...
If any character on this list
is mentioned in this top 15, Mega Man should be number 1.
Yeah, Mega Man deserves this spot twice as much as anyone else on this list. Frankly, Capcom's been treating their poster boy like shit lately. So I think Nintendo needs to give the Blue Bomber the love he so desperately deserves.
Mega Man, one of the most famous cold classics, needs to be put in this game.
Mega Man 2 is easily rivals The Legend of Zelda and Super Mario Bros. As the best game in the NES library.
Of course. I agree so much with you. Now, we're going to mention a few honorable mentions.
We'll even be coming out with an outtakes video to see a couple characters that we ended up not being able to put in this video. A few characters that include Thoughtful.
Let's see. We're thinking about Strong Bad, but we're not sure yet.
We were even considering Peppy Hare. Considering him for a very short amount of time, but considering him nonetheless.
Now,
in conclusion, I'm the Dark Metroid.
And I'm Minifreakout. Thanks for watching this. Subscribe to Shadow Metroid 18, his channel's Epic Pop Tart 97, and subscribe to my channel, Minifreakout. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
And in conclusion, get rid of Jigglypuff! God damn it!